I told my friend group I was dating our old gym teacher who lives in a van and talks to pigeons. I'd been dating Corey for 4 months and kept it completely under wraps because my friend group turned every relationship into their personal reality show. We met through a work conference and he's honestly perfect for me, but I wanted to enjoy the honeymoon phase without everyone's commentary. The secrecy was working fine until my roommate noticed I was sneaking out 3 nights a week. She started checking my phone screen whenever it lit up and asking weirdly specific questions like whether I preferred brunettes or blondes now. Then my best friend jumped on the investigation train after seeing a hickey I'd poorly covered with concealer. Within a week, my entire friend group was treating my love life like an escape room they needed to solve. They literally created a group chat called Operation Find Out Who She's Banging, which they thought I didn't know about. At brunch one Saturday, they staged what can only be described as an interrogation, where they took turns guessing while analyzing my facial expressions. One friend pulled up my Instagram likes looking for patterns, while my roommate brought a literal notepad with suspected candidates ranked by probability. When someone announced she'd narrowed it down to 3 guys from my gym and was planning to show up there tomorrow to investigate, I looked around the table at these absolute maniacs who'd turned my privacy into their personal entertainment and decided if they wanted information so badly, then I'd give them information they'd never forget. I put down my mimosa with dramatic flair and announced that fine, they'd worn me down and I'd tell them everything. Everyone immediately leaned in like hungry wolves. I'm dating Coach Walt from high school, I said while maintaining perfect eye contact. The silence that followed was so complete I could hear the table next to us chewing their eggs. Someone's fork literally fell out of her hand while another friend just kept blinking like she was trying to restart her brain. Coach Walt, who got fired for the pigeon thing? My roommate whispered. I nodded and explained that we'd reconnected when I saw his van broken down outside Planet Fitness last month. He's 57, but age is just a number when you connect on a spiritual level, I said while everyone stared at me like I'd grown a second head. Walt says the government uses exercise equipment to harvest our bioelectric energy, and honestly, once you see the evidence, it's pretty convincing. My best friend practically shrieked, asking if I was seriously dating someone who lived in a van behind Walmart parking lots. I corrected her that he rotates between different locations for safety reasons. Yesterday, he taught me how to decode what pigeons are really saying, and 3 of them warned me about a thunderstorm. I added while someone grabbed my hands across the table. I explained that Walt had developed an entire course about achieving higher consciousness through bird communication. He calls it pigeon prophecy and says I have natural talent because mourning doves respond to my frequency, I said while my roommate pulled up his old faculty photo. My best friend actually stood up when I mentioned spending weekends in his van learning to interpret crow warnings. Walt says if you microwave aluminum foil for exactly 3 seconds, it blocks the frequencies they use to track us through our tea fillings, I added for good measure. For the next 2 weeks, my phone never stopped buzzing with increasingly desperate attempts to save me from Walt. My roommate sent me 40 articles about cult manipulation and age gap relationship dangers, plus a documentary about van murders. Someone tried to set me up on 3 different blind dates, including one with her orthodontist, who she described as age-appropriate and house-having, like those were the only qualifications needed. They organized a girls' night that turned into a PowerPoint presentation titled Why Walt Will Ruin Your Life, complete with graphs about earning potential. The group chat renamed itself to Save Her from Walt and became a 24-hour crisis hotline. One friend even reached out to my mother asking if she knew her daughter was involved with an unemployed 57-year-old man who thought the government was using treadmills to steal our energy. I kept doubling down by posting inspirational quotes about age being meaningless and sharing articles about pigeon intelligence with captions like Walt was right about everything. When my roommate found out I'd supposedly spent a weekend in his van at a Costco parking lot, she literally showed up at my apartment with printed job listings. When they all organized a casual dinner for me, I showed up and found 10 people all wearing concerned faces like someone had died. They'd even invited my therapist cousin to what was obviously an intervention, and she kept making meaningful eye contact while asking how I was really doing. Halfway through the appetizers, my best friend stood up with actual note cards and read a speech about how much they loved me and wanted better for me than a conspiracy theorist who lived in a van. Walt told you that blinking in patterns sends messages to birds and you believed him, she said with actual tears in her eyes. That's when I completely lost it and started crying so hard that everyone thought I was having a breakdown. Through my tears and gasps for air, I managed to explain that I'd been dating a perfectly normal 24-year-old named Corey who worked in software development and lived in a regular apartment with functioning plumbing. His biggest conspiracy theory is thinking the refs are biased against his basketball team. I wheezed while my roommate's face went through every possible emotion. My best friend threw a dinner roll at my head and called me a psychopath while others started crying too from pure relief. Nobody asks invasive questions about my dating life anymore, and Corey thinks the whole thing is hilarious.